is Chantelle. I am a speaker, podcast host, and I am the founder of She is Worthy Community, a global women's networking community founded on faith, connection, and sisterhood. But before all of that, before the stages, the podcast, the community, I was just a woman trying to find out who she was. A woman who looked confident on the outside, but deep down inside didn't know her worth. A woman who chased validation, who thought her value was based on relationships, friendships, what people thought of her, how she looked. And I revolved my whole life around that. And maybe some of you can relate. Quick show of hands. How many of you have ever felt in life you were in a season where you knew something needed to change, but you didn't know how to change it? Yeah, me too. That's where I was. So let me take you back to 2018. I was just getting out of a 7-year relationship. And when that relationship ended, so did my identity that I built around it. And I realized something painful, that I made one person responsible for my happiness. And not only that, my confidence was based on accomplishments, applauses, validation, everyone around me. And when I was in that time of my life, it was one of the hardest times of my life. And when all of that disappeared, I didn't know who I was anymore. And so I tried to do what most women do when life feels out of control. What do? We try to control. And so I tried to control my food, my body, my weight. And what started as healthy eating habits quickly spiraled into a severe eating disorder. My friends tried to help me. My parents tried to help me. People who loved me watched me disappear. And there was really nothing that anyone could do at that point because I was the one that was suffering. But the truth is, no one can heal you until you decide you're ready. And I'm going to tell you that story because I remember the day that changed everything. I was going into what I thought was a routine doctor's appointment. And I walked in at 98 pounds. 98 pounds for a 5'2" muscular Latina woman is not what you want. So I walked in at 98 pounds. My bones were through my collarbones. My hips were showing through my clothes. My eyes were sunken in. Something was wrong. And I walked out that day into the waiting room, and the doctor actually followed me in the waiting room. And he stopped me, and he said, "Hey, Chantelle, please don't make another appointment." And I kind of looked at him like, what do you mean? And mind you, I'm in a waiting room full of people. And he said, "You have 3 months to live. You're dying." And you know when someone says something that's not true, you expect someone to stand up and be like, "Hey, that's not true. Like, that's too harsh." And I looked around the waiting room, waiting for someone to be that advocate for me. And it was silent. And it was the first time in my life that I thought, maybe he's right. Maybe I am dying. It was a thought. So I turned around, I looked at the nurse, and she shook her head, basically saying, "Don't make another appointment." And I just started walking out that day. And he stopped me and he said, "Hey, Chantelle, one more thing. If you decide to change your mind and change your life, call me first thing Monday morning and I'll get you in." And I just said, okay. I drove home. I went into my dad's office. I lived with my parents at the time. And I sat in my dad's office in the corner crying. And I started to cry and cry and cry. And I prayed for the first time in a long time. And I started to pray not a cute prayer, not a polished prayer, but a desperate prayer, a broken prayer, a God help me, a God please save my life. I don't know how. I don't know how to get out of this. Please, God, I know I have more to live for. And in that moment, I heard God so clearly for the first time in my life. And he said 3 words that saved my life. He said, "You are worthy." And for the first time, I thought, well, if God says I'm worthy, then I have to believe it too. If God says I'm worthy, me today, just as I am, enough the way I am, if He says I'm worthy, then I have to believe it too. And so I looked up and I saw a protein bag sitting in the corner of my dad's office. And I thought, I'm not comfortable with food, but I could probably try a shake. That shake saved my life. One shake became two. Two became meals. Meals became strength. Strength became healing, and healing became purpose. And this is my purpose. Me standing on this stage right now, this is what I am called to do, to pour into women, to help them know their worth. Because there was a point that I didn't. And so what did I do? I became a health coach. I started to fall in love with myself. I took myself on dates. I dressed up. I wore the cheetah suit. I started to love who Chantelle was, just as she was, eating the salad or the burger. I was happy with who God created me for once. And so then I created Cocoa Cakes, a vegan protein cookie business that I'm now the CEO of. And yes, the protein that is baked into every single cookie is the one that saved my life. And then God had a bigger calling for me. 1 year ago, He said, I want you to build a room full of women that can network together, grow together, feel safe together, heal together, love on each other, know their worth together. And so that's when She is Worthy Community was born. Today, I stand here going from 0 members a year ago to 135 members today, 6 countries, countless friendships, incredible business relationships, women who find their voices together, who know their worth together. We even have She is Worthy members in this room, and even Ross is a She is Worthy member, and we're changing the world. And when someone asks me today, what does worth mean to you? So let's pretend this is a $100 bill. If I held up $100 right now, how many of you would want it? Nobody? I'm like, I would want it. How many of you want it, right? What if I crumbled it up? Would you guys still want it? Yeah. What if I stepped on it? Would it still be worth $100? Of course. Why? Because it never lost its value. And ladies, neither did you. You will never lose your value. Not because of divorce, not because of trauma, not because of past relationships, not because of what you look like, not because of anything. You don't have to earn your worth. You just have to remember it. And if I could leave you with anything today, it's what worth means. Walk in confidence. Own your voice. Release what shrinks you. Trust who God created you to be. Heal without losing yourself. And yield in your purpose. Because you are all created for more, and there is a reason you are here. And if you're in this room wondering if you belong, I want you to know you belong. You belong on stages. There's room for all of us at the top. Success isn't selfish. You belong in leadership. You belong in relationships. You belong in love. And most importantly, you belong to yourself. And so I'm going to leave you with one thing. God does not call the qualified. He qualifies the called, and you are all called for more. And I hope you go home tonight and you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, she is worthy.